UFC Austin was a wild card and we had some fantastic fights. But should Figgy move up and fight Sean O'Malley? Before we get into that, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe as we have brand new videos every single week. So, Mark, how did you enjoy UFC Austin?
Yeah, we've spoke before about this is one of those where you look and you think, oh, actually, this is pretty tasty. This is quite juicy. I was surprised to see someone like, say, Deiveson Figueiredo being that further down, pushed down the card, considering his history. But like you say, though, it definitely delivered. Don't get me wrong, if I'd have stayed up for it, maybe I'd have been a bit miffed with how short some of the fights were.
Yeah.
But fantastic overall, though. And it's not out of the ordinary for you to get every single pick wrong, by the way, Dwayne.
You're talking about I've got 100% pick rate, even on UFC Austin, yeah? I've never got anything wrong ever, okay? I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
all right.
exact round, the method, yeah? Call me Mr. Sunnan for predictions. But anyway, a pick I definitely got wrong is my boy Kelvin Gastelum. He tapped in the third round, and honestly, it's heartbreaking. I feel like Kelvin had so much potential, and I really thought, right, he's going to come down this division and he's going to find his division. And I had high hopes for him. But where do you think he goes from here after tapping so early? Well, not early in the third round.
I honestly, Dwayne, I'm going to break your heart some more now. I don't see what you see in Kelvin Gastelum. I don't. Honestly, I don't. I just don't. He had a really good fight with Adesanya, and since then, he's been, it's inconsistent as Michael Johnson. If he turns up for the fight, he's always injured. He's injured more than that sick kid at school who was never there. That's just Kelvin, and it seems to be into adulthood. I think he looked good at welterweight. I mean, I can't get invested into any of his fights, and maybe he seems a little too short for middleweight because they just seem to be able to pick him apart. Welterweight, there's a few good fights, but I don't think he's going to be missed if he did leave. If I'm totally honest.
No, I agree, and that's the thing. I think it's more just the potential of Kelvin. I think after he had that amazing fight with Adesanya, it just felt like he could have achieved something fantastic. And I think I was always just hoping for that potential to be shown. But I think now he's moved down in the division and he's getting finished off by someone like Sean Brady. And that's no knock on Sean Brady. Sean Brady's good,
No.
but Kelvin should be clearing through him easily. And unfortunately, he didn't. And that's kind of it. I think maybe he needs to start looking at retirement or just finish out his contract, do a couple of fights and see where he goes from there, right?
I think Kelvin Gastelum's fight with Adesanya is along the same lines as Rory McDonald's fight with Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
He's got, there's other things, there's other credentials, but he's known mainly by a widespread audience for one fight. And it's a loss in that fight. You're like, come on, let's face reality, boy.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And maybe he might be able to sort something out, but I don't think he will. I think even me, a big fan like I am, I think you have to just accept it, don't you? And go, right, let's move on. Let's find someone else to put our hopes on. Hopefully, Paddy Pimblett.
Stop that immediately.
But anyway, we move on now to Figgy. He stepped up into a new division, and I was surprised actually. His power seemed to translate very, very well. His technique looked great. He looked fantastic all round. Do you think because he's knocked off number 8 now and he's a former champion, do you think we could see him step up into that title picture real soon?
I really do, and I really hope so as well. I'm all about anyone throwing a spanner into the works of the UFC because I'm all about, you want to keep divisions fresh. You want to keep them from going stale. And exactly like you said then, for Deiveson Figueiredo to beat number 8 ranked Rob Font, which I'm happy about, by the way. Forget about Rob Font. Don't like him. This opens up the division for super fights of Deiveson versus, Piotr Jan, Marlon Vera, Corey Sandhagen, even Henry Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling, the ex-champion. That would be a perfect fight, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Figgy has really, really proved that he can stand in this division, and I'm really, really excited for it. And yeah, I can see him moving up to a title shot after one more fight. I think if he beats someone like Jan or Vera or Aljo, like you were saying, we'll see him go up against Sean O'Malley. I do worry about Figgy fighting someone like Sean O'Malley just because Sean O'Malley's so bloody tall. I just don't see how Figgy's going to be able to break that distance almost. So it feels like he'll get caught coming in quite easily, I think.
But Henry Cejudo would be a super fight. That's a fight that I'm keen on seeing, is that.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Two former champions going at it. And that's the thing, when you're a former champion, we've seen how quick the UFC are to push you towards a title. So, and he was a decent name. He's a big name, great champion. So hopefully we'll see him really, really step up in that division. But I tell you who did step up. Jallian Turner on 2 weeks' notice against Bobby Green. And he got the first round KO. It seems strange because it felt like Bobby Green had that potential to be a new dark horse of the division. And, it felt like maybe we could see him moving up into a title picture fairly soon. But now Bobby's lost. And I think he's like 36 or something like that. He's not young. Where does he go from here?
I put Bobby Green, just because we were recently speaking about it, I'll put Bobby Green into the Kelvin Gastelum territory where he's had a few notable wins, i.e., Tony Ferguson. But it's too inconsistent. There's no real threat to the champion or the big top contenders in Bobby Green.
Yeah.
But is a threat to the mid-carders. Does that make any sense what to say?
It makes perfect sense. And that's what you need, though, sometimes. Not every fighter can be champion. Not everyone needs to be this top contender. You need these middle-of-the-road fighters who can work as gatekeepers and as strong, powerful gatekeepers who can really stop people just jumping up for title shots when they shouldn't be getting one. You need fighters like that. So I think Bobby Green's kind of found his place near the end of his career. Just fighting up new up and
well, his place
quote-unquote.
seems to be face down on the floor, if that's what you're getting at, Dwayne.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. What did you think of the finish in this fight? It felt to me as though the ref was trying to get Jallian Turner on a murder charge. It was disgusting. I genuinely didn't know what was going on there.
It seemed as if the referee, he watched Hostel and then he thought, I want the thing in real life. So he just You know what the funny thing was? Because I didn't actually catch it live. I watched it this morning and I seen the KO and, he was following up and I clicked open another tab on my computer. And anyway, I was just doing something and about 7 or 8 seconds later, I just heard, that's it, it's over. I'm like, what? They let it carry on for that long? Let's go back and watch it. It was disgusting.
He was out twice, at least twice.
I know.
What did the ref want to see before he goes, right, that's enough? I literally didn't get it. I was like, are you going to stop this now? Like, it's literally an hour.
Mario Yamasaki was doing backflips at home, just sat there eating Cheetos saying, I didn't see the ref doing anything wrong.
Well,
Steve
he's
Mazzagatti there as well, just buddying him. Fine.
Well, he's now a ref in PFL, isn't it? Imagine if he refs the Francis fight. Oh my God, someone will die. Literally, someone's gonna die. Scary. But anyway, let's move on. Someone else who got flatlined was Dariush. He got KO'd in a minute. It's wild to think Dariush was the dark horse of the division. We were talking about him just 6 months ago that he was going to step up and fight Islam. We all thought he was going to batter Charles. And now he's on a 2-fight losing skid. Again, I've asked this a couple of times already, but it just feels like this card's really throwing a spanner in the works. And that's what I love about these kind of fight nights is where does Dariush go from here?
It's a tough one with Dariush because we stated last week that I've never seen a hype train get derailed as quickly as Beneil Dariush did after Charles Oliveira knocked him out. Now, granted, this was another main event, but he got KO'd in around about a minute. This hasn't done anything for his stock. This hasn't done anything for his fan base.
No.
I think Dariush is going to be one of those. He'll be an answer to a trivia question of who almost made it to the top. Sadly, as harsh as that sounds, but it's true.
Yeah.
Who's bothered now? Are you excited to see what Beneil does next? I'm not.
No, I'm not, unless it's like a big contender who's going to get a name win off him. But yeah, I'm really, really not interested. I think that's it now, isn't it? That hype train, like you're saying, is completely derailed now. It's not just derailed, it's come off, it's crashed, it's killed everyone on the train. It's a natural disaster. It's terrible. Let's just move on from Dariush. But with our man, after the fight, he called out Islam Makhachev and said, I'm going to knock him out. Do you think our man could be jumping at a title picture soon, or do you think he's way down the list?
Is there in sort of name value, but I do not see him. I do not see him getting the title shot just because of his name. He's not well known enough. He's not a household name. It's it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever just to see that. It's not. You can't imagine Islam Makhachev versus Arman, can you? It just doesn't happen.
That does not sell well as a fight. I mean, they've fought before, but that's not a big pay-per-view, is it? And for me, Arman's like got to be fourth in line, right? Surely you've got Charles Oliveira up next, Justin Gagey, and then Dustin Poirier is always in the mix as well, and Gamrot. So then, maybe Arman's fifth in line, really. So to think that he's going to get a title shot within the next year, 2 years, is just, it's near impossible, right?
Lightweight's got too big of a waiting line, doesn't it? No one can jump the queue in lightweight. It just doesn't make any sense. It's too busy. You've got to keep the natural flow going. Like you say, imagine if Arman jumped ahead of Justin Gaethje. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think what he could do best right now is go enjoy his time with his family. Go watch the replay of him flatlining Beneil a few times over. Have a good Christmas and assess it in the new year. Maybe Dustin Poirier fancies a challenge again. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to see what Dustin's going to do. I mean, apparently he was supposed to fight Dariush, but he kept turning it down, which is fair enough. I mean, like you said before, Dariush isn't a big name, so why would he fight him? Totally makes sense. I think the right fight for our man now is to do a rematch with Gamrot, and then the winner of that then steps up, and then we see Gamrot or Arman move up into that title picture, and they become one of the top contenders. Overall, this was an incredible card, and there was a lot on the line, but I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.